Hey, can you find a water bottle for me?
Something so simple.
Hi, it's Wednesday, June the 27th, and I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. Well, the hits keep coming from the United States Supreme Court. Yet another 5-4 decision, yet another decision marked by a block of conservative voters. This one says, in striking down a 40-year precedent, that people cannot be compelled to pay collective bargaining fees to a public employees union if they're not members of the union. This will be a crushing blow to public employee unions, teachers groups, police groups, fire groups, which have been the one great source of union strength in recent years as private sector unions have dwindled mightily. They've been working to get this for a long time. This is a Republican agenda vote. It's yet another product of Mitch McConnell's decision to keep Barack Obama from appointing a Supreme Court justice so that they could get their man on the court, and he's delivered. It's worth noting that Anthony Kennedy, who once in a while provides some relief for moderate people on the Supreme Court, has voted 19 times in the majority with the 5-4 majority. The unions are going to try and fight on, but it's going to be harder now. Well, news elsewhere on the judicial front was a little bit better. If at the district court level in San Diego, California, a judge there says that the Trump administration must stop separating families, and they must reunite the families that have been broken up within 30 days, 14 days for the youngest of the children. This is good news. Will the Trump administration go along with this? We don't know. A number of attorneys general in the United States had filed a suit calling for an end of the family separation process. Attorney General Leslie Rutledge of Arkansas was not among that group of attorneys general, needless to say. Leslie Rutledge, the Arkansas Attorney General, will make some news today. She has a news conference scheduled after we record this to talk about public corruption in some fashion. My first question for her would be, what took you so long? She's been in office 3.5 years, and we've had numbers of announcements of lawmakers indicted, convicted of various public corruption crimes. There are some things she can talk about. We don't know specifically what she has in mind. We do know that during the time that she's been in office, and while she's had a Medicaid corruption task force, that millions of dollars have been diverted from Medicaid funding given to a healthcare organization in Arkansas that went to bribes and illegal campaign contributions, kickbacks, and other illicit spending on Arkansas lawmakers. We also know that she defended the General Improvement Fund law that was challenged in court, and from that law, money was sent around to various agencies in the state that paid kickbacks to legislators who now face criminal convictions as a result of that. Where was she on that? We don't know. Perhaps those are questions she'll answer today, including why now is she suddenly fired up about public corruption. Perhaps because she has an election opponent in a few months. The FBI is going to join her and lend its good name to her political grandstanding. I'm not sure that's a good idea given the FBI's recent experience in participating in election business. Well, speaking of public corruption, or at least public funny business, medical marijuana continues to make news in Arkansas. The Arkansas Democrat-Gazette today reported something that's been going around among critics of the grading process for the cultivation permit applications, that one applicant, one of the winning applicants that is, has parts of its application that seem to be copied word from an application by another seeker of a cultivation permit, and exactly how that happened isn't clear. Not exactly clear whether it matters. It's on some fairly boilerplate parts of the processes, but nonetheless, some people are looking askance at how identical wording turned up in two applications. I do think it's yet another piece of evidence that this process has been flawed from the start, and they need to start over. Well, there's a hearing also this afternoon in federal court in Little Rock about whether federal judge Christine Baker will continue an order that the state cannot enforce an anti-abortion law that requires medical clinics, even those that just dispense pills to produce early pregnancy miscarriages, that whether that law can be put in effect that forces them to have an agreement with a doctor with admitting privileges. This requirement has essentially put the clinics that provide these pills out of business. She's going to decide whether she can continue to have her injunction kept in place. Some news came out yesterday in Politico, the political magazine, that said that big tax cut bill, which was a windfall for the wealthy, not so much for lower income people, also included a tax increase to help pay for the tax cut for rich people on churches and other nonprofit organizations. This may come as something of a surprise to the evangelical people that love everything Donald Trump does. Having to pay some more on taxes on fringe benefits to their people might not sit so well. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is hitting U.S. Representative French Hill, a Republican who's been nothing but a staunch defender of the tax cut, and saying where was he when they were increasing taxes on churches? What's wrong with him on that? An Arkansas history note, Joe Jackson, the father of Michael Jackson, the Jackson Five, and other musical members of the Jackson family, died today in Los Angeles at the 89. He was the early business manager of all the musical Jacksons. And finally, most of the hog world is looking today to Omaha, where the University of Arkansas Razorback baseball team is playing for the College Baseball World Championship. We're already talking about whether the umpires are going to jack with us or not. Tune in tonight and we'll find out. Hoping for good news for the Hogs. Woo pig and resist. I'm Max Brantley.